Imagine the best surgeon in your city. Steady hands, 20 years of training, the one person that you would want standing over you if your life was on the line. Now, picture him behind his house in a shed with a rusted mechanic's toolbox open on a bench about to operate on himself. You would walk in and stop him, not because he isn't skilled, he's the most skilled person for 100 miles. You would stop him because no amount of skill survives the wrong tools, the wrong room, and a man too close to the patient to cut straight. Genius does not solve anything under those conditions because the conditions win. And that picture should bother you because it's exactly what's happening in your business right now. You're the surgeon, elite at what you do. And somewhere along the way, you walked into that shed, picked up the toolbox, and started operating on the one system that decides whether your company lives or dies, and that is your own marketing. You think you're building marketing. You're not. You're building a monument to your own blind spots. Now, I know how that sounds. Most folks in business, they don't fail at marketing because they're lazy. They fail because they're too close to their own business to see what the market actually experiences. What you're building is the version that makes sense to you, the message that's clear to you, the page that makes the offer obvious to someone who already believes. But your buyer doesn't already believe, and that's the entire game. They're not inside of your company. They're outside of it, judging it within seconds. And if your message doesn't meet them where they are, they don't argue, they just disappear. Let me show you exactly what that looks like, because it's typically invisible until someone points at it and you actually look at it. Picture a founder that's doing $4 million a year. He's got a hell of a product. He's got real customer reviews. He's got a team that works super hard, and he's running his traffic. His funnel converts at, let's say, 2%, and he's convinced that the fix is more traffic. So what does he do? He pours more money into the top of the funnel. But volume was never his problem. Belief was. He's not losing sales because too few people see the offer. He's losing them because the people who do see it don't believe it. And he can't see that because he wrote it. It made sense to him the day that he built it, and it's made sense to him every day since. And here's the part that should scare you. The market never sends the invoice. There is no report telling you about the buyer who almost trusted you and left because your marketing didn't create enough belief. You don't see the prospect who almost booked the call. You don't see the buyer who needed one objection answered, just one, and your video skipped it. You don't see the $30,000 client who never became a real lead. That's the invisible invoice, and it's absolutely brutal. The real cost of I'll just build it myself was never the page. It was never the software. It's the buyer that you never met, the trust that you never build, and the company that you keep delaying because you're trying to personally learn a game that serious companies hire specialists to play. And most founders aren't saving money when they do it. They're protecting control, and control is a drug. You call it being hands-on, detail-oriented, and sometimes that's true. But most of the time, if we're being honest, it's fear wearing a responsible outfit, fear of spending the money, fear of someone seeing a weakness in the business that you've been too close to even notice, fear of letting go of the identity that says, I'm the one who figures everything out. That identity helps you survive, but the same identity that gets you to survival is the one that keeps you from actual scale. At some point, you stopped being scrappy and you started being the bottleneck. And if that stings, good. Founders don't stay stuck from not working hard enough. They stay stuck from working on the wrong things. At midnight, they're rewriting the same headline for the 19th time, debating the button colors and calling it leadership. It's not leadership, it's founder dependency. And dependency is not a business model, it's a fucking prison. So let me reframe who you're being right now. You are the founder of your company. You are not a CMO. Those are two different jobs. The founder sets the vision, they raise the capital, they build the team. The CMO owns demand, message, conversion, and the entire path from attention to cash. And the second that you pretend that they're the same job, the company that you own gets to pay for it. because now you're the part-time CMO, the part-time copywriter, the part-time media buyer, and you think that's impressive. It's not. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Real companies put the right person in the right seat because the mission is too important to let an amateur hold a critical position within it. And here's the part that you don't want to hear. You cannot run your own marketing at its full potential. It's not because you're not smart. You might be the smartest person in your entire company. You can't do it because you're structurally disqualified from seeing your marketing clearly. You're too close to the offer. You're too attached to your own words, your mission, your vision, and your values. You understand the mechanics so deeply, you skip the exact parts that the buyer needs to hear. Structurally, not morally, not intellectually, structurally. I had to learn this in business the hard way, but once I accepted it, it became the biggest superpower in my life. And if you've followed me for a while now, you know I'm typically drawn to things that go fast and punish carelessness. So not too long ago, I decided to get into racing superbikes. When most people get into something like that, they dabble. They take advice from whoever's in the paddock that's willing to give them advice. Typically, it's other beginners who are slightly better than they are, and they spend years reinforcing bad habits, getting hurt, and calling it some type of experience. I didn't want to go down that path. If the goal is serious, you don't learn from average. You find people who've already done the exact thing that you're trying to do at the highest level there is. And you get as close to them as you possibly can, because proximity to the right people compresses time. So I went straight to the top. And I want to be clear, I was not a natural at superbikes. I had never ridden a track in my life. I was slow, I was stiff, and to be honest with you, I was scared as hell. But I wasn't interested in normal. I wanted compression. So I found the fastest people I could get near. Not fast in the paddock, but real champions. Jason Pridmore, who used to race for Michael Jordan's team. Andrew Lee, the 3-time national champion in Moto America for Stock 1000. Shane Turpin, who has literally raced in MotoGP. The best there is. And I got as close to them as I could, and I paid for it. I paid $1,400 a day for 7 days straight, every single month. Not once, not here and there, every month. $9,800 in coaching alone. And that's before the bikes, the tires, the track fees, the race fuel, the travel, the staff, or the hotels. This was just in coaching alone. Just to access people who could see what I couldn't see. And that's the entire point. I wasn't paying for motivation. I was paying for correction, because a beginner can't see his own mistakes while he's making them. He feels effort and calls it progress. He feels fear and calls it caution. He feels speed and calls it skill. But a real coach sees it instantly. The hesitation before you know you hesitated. The bad line before it cost you the corner. And that's what coaching is. It's not hype, it's correction. Someone's seeing the pattern you can't because you're too busy living inside it. And because I was willing to be coached like that, my learning curve collapsed. Within a few races, I was on the podium. Every race, all season. By my 4th month, I was running expert times as a novice. I won a championship my first year, beating riders who had been doing this for 3, 4, and even 5 years. It wasn't because I was magically better. It was because I refused to learn slowly. I refused to pay for every mistake personally, and I refused to protect my ego more than the outcome. And this isn't really even a story, because I documented it from day one right here on this channel. If you don't believe me, you can go watch it. Now, I know some of you are listening to this saying, cool story, bro. This is about marketing, not motorcycles, but it's not. Because I built my first 8-figure business at 23 years old. You can check the press. I haven't earned less than 7 figures in net income ever since. I have built dozens of 8-figure businesses in the years after that, and I've helped take 2 of them past $1 billion in revenue. Now, I want you to guess how old I am. I'll give you a hint, 1995. I'm 31 years old. And I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm telling you that because it's the entire point. There is no version of that timeline that happens. by doing everything yourself, learning every lesson the slow way, paying the full price for every mistake. It only happens one way, the same way it happened on the track. You find the people who have already done it, you put the right systems in the right seats, and you compress a decade into a couple of years. That's not a racing skill and it's not a flex. It's the same operating principle pointed at the one thing that decides whether your company lives or dies: demand. So here is the shift that I want to encourage you to make. The question was never, can I do this by myself? That's your ego talking. The real question, the operator question, is this: what is the highest leverage way to get the result? The moment that you ask it that way, your ego, it ain't driving no more. The outcome is. The amateur worships effort. The operator worships leverage. The operator only ever asks one thing: what is the highest value move in this situation? So you run every task through 3 simple filters. Can it be delegated to someone who can do it better than you ever will? Can it be eliminated because it was never moving the needle? Or can it be automated so it runs without you? Delegate, eliminate, automate. Whatever survives those 3, that's what deserves the founder, because marketing was never a side project off to the edge of your company. Demand, conversion, fulfillment, cash, and control. Those are 5 separate problems. They're not one machine. A weak funnel doesn't cost you a few leads. It infects everything downstream of it. And a funnel was never a page. It was a psychological path that walks a human being from doubt to action. Most founders aren't engineering that. They're arranging information. But marketing was never about saying everything that matters to you. It's about saying the exact thing that matters to the buyer in the exact order it takes to move them. And that's not a skill that you can just find. So now you're at a decision, and this decision can either empower you or limit you. And I want to hold the mirror up one more time. Are you building your funnel because you're the most qualified person alive to build the machine? That decides how much money your business makes. That decides how much you scale. That decides how well you do in business. Or is it because you just can't let go? Are you writing your own marketing because it's the highest leverage use of your time? Or because trusting someone else would mean admitting that this isn't your category? You don't have to like those answers, but you already know what they are. And here's why this matters more than failure ever could. Failure, it's very loud. You can see it. Underperformance, it hides. It gives you just enough revenue to avoid making the hard decisions. Just enough wins to protect your ego, but underneath it, you already know. You know the message isn't as sharp as it could be. You know the follow-up isn't recovering what it should. You've just never wanted to look at the real reason because it forces you to admit that the current version of you can't be the answer to every problem in your company. That is not a weakness. It is the most mature thing a founder can say out loud. That's the entire reason Lux Vani exists. We're not a vendor. We install the acquisition function to your company that you should already have. The message, the offer, the funnel, the follow-up, the psychology behind demand. We look at it as actual operators, not designers. And I'll be straight with you. It's not for everyone. And I mean that as a filter, not as a flex. Lux Vani is application only. We don't take a company because it can pay. We take it because the business is real, the offer works, and the only thing missing is the machine. But if that's you, a real business and a ceiling that you can't seem to break anymore with effort, then here's what happens. You apply below, we look at your offer, your message, your entire acquisition path, and we show you exactly where it's leaking and what it's costing you. There's no pitch. The diagnosis is the value. So here's the 2 ways this typically goes. You can keep tinkering, keep rewriting the hook, keep calling it testing when it's really just uncertainty with activity wrapped around it, and you can keep protecting control. Or you can build leverage in your business. The goal was never to build a funnel. The goal is to build the machine that makes buying from you feel inevitable. But as always, nothing moves until you do. So make the right move. Click the link below.